Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Center for Conscious Kids, my conscious living podcast series here at Specially Produce Network. I'm live here in San Diego, and I'm here with an amazing friend, an amazing colleague, and she's playing it secondarily. It's awesome.
I'm trying to get this figured out here.
We're figuring out multi modes of
Yes,
media.
yes.
Well, welcome, everyone. I would like to introduce you to Amanda Marie Masters. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here on your show.
I'm so
And
excited you're here.
yeah,
It's just amazing. And what we're going to talk about today is connecting conscious kids. And I'd love to introduce you and letting everyone know what you do. How do you share with conscious kids and families and your clients and people that you work with? What do you do?
so what I do is I connect into the multidimensional aspects of people.
Just like
And
our studio.
just like the studio, there's all these connections and wires and sound and
Right. It's
yeah,
amazing.
lighting, and it's very professional. Um, yeah, so I connect into the multidimensional aspects of people, maybe their energy field, if you like to call it. We
Right.
all have an energy field around us. That's
We
why
sure
when
do.
people step into our space, we feel it. It's like it's either inviting and we
Right.
want them closer,
Right.
where we're like, this isn't quite feeling good. Can you back it up a little bit? Because we all have an energy field. We project an energy field or toroidal fields around us.
We sure do.
Yes. So what I do is I work with people in that space, in that expanded state of consciousness beyond the third dimensional aspects.
Yeah. And that's
So
what we're doing right now with everyone, even when they're looking at us, either
we
live or
are.
recorded,
Yes.
right? They're experiencing our energy with their energy, and we get to intermingle and share amongst each other.
It's wonderful.
It is.
It's exciting, and I'm sharing out to my different spaces on my Facebook right now to make sure that everyone can tune in
Yeah,
and my world as well.
it's
So
exciting because then
it
it's
is
our world, right? It's
indeed.
yeah.
Well, it becomes our world when
It's
people are introduced to you, Miss Ashley. I've
right.
admired your work for years and all
Well,
the stuff
thank
that
you.
you've done for family and kids for years. I mean,
Thank you.
this is the heart and soul of your passion,
Yeah,
right?
it
Bringing
is. I
healing
love it.
work and education,
Yes.
educating the parents on how to manage these conscious kids that are coming into the world nowadays. These crystal
Right.
kids, these rainbow children,
Right.
indigos, and how do we manage children that are here to challenge the current paradigm?
Right. And create the paradigm we choose to see and we choose to create and we
Hmm.
choose what sounds good, feels good, we know is good, and seeks essences of higher truths
Hmm.
rather than some of the illusions and the we can't do and we can't make and we're too limited and life is not okay.
Well, and also what's interesting is having my own children. So I am a mother of three, of 15, 12, and 9. Hannah, Dylan, and Jimmy. They are my life. First and foremost, I'm a mom. And coming from that space, seeing how the current systems are set up, structurally for schools,
Yeah.
and kids are, talked at and they're spoken to, and you follow the rules and you follow the guidelines, and here's how you're going to learn. A lot of children are questioning things. Why do we have to
Exactly.
learn it this way? Why do we have to have an hour of homework a night for math, an hour of homework a night for English, an hour of why do we, we sat in class all day long. Why do I have to sit here and do 2 hours of homework tonight, mommy, when I want to play and I want to have fun?
Exactly.
So seeing it from a mom perspective, it's interesting to um, learn through different tools and techniques how to approach this with our children, having them
Exactly.
live in the current status quo. And, what are the other options? My 12-year-old son, Dylan, in middle school, uh, the way the current structure is set up for middle school,
Right.
pushing the kids to the max. Each teacher has their own website now. They have like multiple pages on each of their websites, and they have to try to figure out, you know, where they are going in the website to find the current
Right. So they have to
information,
navigate technologically.
which is okay.
Yeah.
However, if you need to study for a test, for example, nowadays, you may have to go to the website. You've got to go to the textbook. You've got to go to the online material and then stuff they've handed out. And if you have that for 5 different courses, for example, it can be quite overwhelming, even
Yeah.
for top achievers, the
Yeah.
way that the Common Core system is set up.
Right.
So, for example, my daughter, who's 15, is a high achiever in school, and she's been pretty successful. My 12-year-old son, Dylan, it's harder for him to focus and to remember all the different places he needs to go for the work for each class. Each
Right.
teacher is totally different instruction, and it's like he could have an hour of homework for each class, for each subject,
Yes.
depending on
And
the
that's
time of the
5
month
or
or the
6
week.
hours a night.
And so I have researched another school in the area called the Soul Charter School.
Wow.
It's called Soul, Soul.
Yeah. I heard about
And
them.
he's going to be going there.
All right.
It's starting at the
Congratulations.
end of this month, and I can't wait. I'm so excited because I've taken the time to research
Right.
a different type of school, a different way of learning
Right.
for my child that doesn't fit into the paradigm.
Right. I just heard today from a friend,
It's excellent.
and they were talking about a 15-year-old child who has been called to the school board and school, inside the school, and the principal and other people, and talking about how he is doing mathematics, but he's not showing his work, and he's accurate, but he's not showing his work, and he's not showing how he's getting it. So it's not in the old paradigm.
Uh,
And the parent is saying,
mhm.
well, his answers are still correct. So how he accesses the information is a little different than how you all did in the past. And how is that wrong? And it's
Right.
fascinating because this is where this mom particularly thinks that this is not the best environment for this person at the school.
It's not for him. It's not for him, honestly. If
Yeah,
he is able to come up with the answer using his own abstract way of thinking and his own creativity,
right.
and they're telling him it's wrong. That's one of the issues I have with Common Core math nowadays,
Yeah,
because you get graded not only on the right answer but showing the work.
right,
And I can understand them wanting to have the students use another part of the brain to find the answer.
right,
That's great. But if they come up with yet another way,
right.
reward them for it.
Exactly.
Don't subtract.
The creativity should be rewarded.
It's really hard. I've noticed that it's really hard on my kids when they have they know they come home after taking a math test and they're like, oh, I know I got all the answers right and I did a really good job. And
Yeah,
then they have like -6, and even though they got all the answers right,
right,
because they didn't show the work the way that they want the Common Core math work to be showed,
right,
to be displayed.
right,
And so they get really they're really hard on themselves about it.
right,
So, to me, they should be rewarding kids for, figuring out a different way to find the right answer, because that's
right.
what life's all about.
Well, what if
It's
the
navigating
like you talked
different
about
ways.
the aura around people and the energy field. What if the energy field of the earth, also known as to many the Schumann resonance and other resonances, what if that's changing on the planet and a lot of the kids are getting and accessing that knowledge even outside to a greater body of knowledge, and they're accessing that to
Right.
discover lots of ways to solve the same kinds of problems.
Yes.
And what if that
Yes.
ingenuity and creativity is coming here on the planet and it's being expressed through the kids to help solve some of our what we
Love
viewed
that.
as irreparable,
Mhm.
right? Irreparable problems in society that we haven't been able to solve yet.
Mhm.
And that creativity should be rewarded
It
and
should
supported.
be.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It should be. And a school like Soul Charter School in Solana Beach is offering those opportunities. They give it's project
Based
based
learning.
learning.
Right.
So they first discover what the child is interested in,
Right.
and they tie that into the different subject matters. So English, math, history, and they'll say, okay, you're interested in these, in this, hobby. You have this hobby or whatever it is.
Right.
I want you to look at this country and figure out how you can integrate this hobby into the country. Or let's say this country has, what problems do you want to solve in the world, or what concerns do you have about other children in the world today?
Right.
And they'll say, I worry about kids who are starving. There's so many children starving around the world. And
Right.
they'll say, okay, we'll pick a country in this area, third world country, and find out the details of what's happening in that country, why the children are starving, and come up with. You have 9 weeks to come up with a solution.
That's fabulous.
So they do this project work to figure out. They come up with a strategy, and it has to be a realistic strategy of how to resolve, how to begin to tackle something like that in a third world country.
Right.
And at the end of the 9 week period, they bring in parents, family members and they have to present. They have to present their projects every 9 weeks. They bring in the parents and families, and then they bring in the community. They bring in community leaders
Right.
and business leaders to listen. And
Well, and to maybe facilitate some of those projects actually getting launched.
there you go.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So
Absolutely amazing.
they've launched projects even in the community. They've taken business leaders have taken students' projects and
And roll them out
roll them
because
out.
they have the resources, the
Yeah.
time, the access to those opportunities to create that project
Yeah.
coming.
And not only that, but they teach the whole child. They don't just focus on math, English, history,
Right.
writing. If you're lucky and you're at a more privileged school, you get some music, you get some arts.
Right.
They've removed all that, PE. But at Seoul Charter School, they focus on the whole being. So they teach you how to eat healthy.
Yeah.
They teach you how to change a tire. They teach you how to do laundry. They teach you how to get a bank loan. They teach you how to take a business loan.
Yeah.
They teach you how to be an entrepreneur in the world and think outside the box.
Right. That's
They
fantastic.
teach you how to coping skills. So they bring you into groups based on your age. And every day they have this time period where you can talk about current issues, maybe going on in the country, going on locally, going on in your household.
And developing emotional intelligence.
Developing emotional intelligence. And they go through the process of problem solving or providing solutions as a group. How
Yeah.
can we make this better? How can we support you? So they learn through that process how to tackle any conflicts in their world.
Right.
So they're learning how to problem solve as well, and emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
They talk about meditation. They talk about these ways of bringing peace into the physical body. So when
Right.
you get worked up, especially as a hormonal at 7th grade through 12th grade. So especially as a hormonal teenager, how the heck do you manage your hormones?
Right.
How do
Exactly.
you
On top of learning how to be from a dependent child to an independent adult, how do you create that level of interdependence with yourself and others?
yes,
Yes.
exactly. So it's their whole process is teaching the whole being
That is so
how to
beautiful.
live in the world today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And how to access your personal power.
Right.
So rather than saying, oh my gosh, yes, you got the math answer correct, but guess what? You did this part and this part wrong. So we're going to -3 out of 4.
Right.
Instead of doing that, they say, wow, look how you figured out how to solve this problem
Yeah.
through project work. This is incredible.
You came through an artist way, or you came through how did you know it was correct?
Right.
I heard it. I sensed it. I saw
Right.
it. There are many movies that bring out these ideas of cryptology, right? And they see it in their mind's eye, or they see it in the atmosphere, and they see the answers, or they see the energy light up. I see that all the time, but not everybody sees that way. But that's how they are arriving at those answers
Right. And the children nowadays, and it's not
through a
like
multisensory input.
multi-sensory input.
That's right.
Yes, that's MSI.
That's MSI. I like it.
MSI. And not that we didn't have those abilities as children as well, but we were severely oppressed. And
We were
so,
just a little bit.
yeah, and it wasn't our parents' fault. It's just the paradigm that we've been living in. Well, these kids
it was
that are,
societies, yeah.
yeah,
And we're here to adjust that and create a
yeah. So what I
simplify.
do in my role is I end up working with a lot of moms in particular, who first and foremost want to empower themselves. So
Yes.
they've been stuck in this paradigm. They have these kids that are super conscious.
Right.
We'll call them super conscious. And they are they're challenging everything that they're implementing, let's say, in some instances, or they are refusing to do things when they ask them to do it, or they're not okay with what's happening in school, or they're having challenging, or they can tell that their kids are really enlightened and they want to learn more about that. They want to empower themselves to empower their children.
Exactly.
Well, I end up working with a lot of moms who are in the position of wanting to learn more about themselves
Yes.
to impart that in their households, and
Yes.
dads too, but it just tends to be moms that naturally
Right.
want to learn the more spiritual side of things and what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
So through my discovery process, they identify current issues going on in the home, or what's working, what's not working, and why.
Right.
Right. So we go through that process. When that happens, I open up what I call an energy field or portal in the space that we're working in,
Uh-huh.
to allow for our heart spaces to open and expand so that we can come from an expanded state of consciousness in the work.
Absolutely.
And then through that process of discovery,
Yep.
I get a lot of information imparted just because of my way of connecting to the higher dimensional aspects of our being. I get a lot of information imparted to me. It could be their higher self, my guides, whatever, that's providing the information.
Right.
And then, I'll start giving feedback
Right.
on what's currently working, what's not working. Sometimes I'll even take them on a short journey using the theta brainwave technique. We
Right.
will connect to the core of Mother Earth and go up to creator space, using our bodies as a vehicle of light so that they step into the expanded aspects of who they are and outside of the current paradigm or box that they're living in. I have this problem. Well, you're not going to get to the solution of the problem if you're living in it
Right.
and you're not able to step
And
outside
transcend that box.
into the expanded state of consciousness.
That's true.
So, what I do is I offer that opportunity to step into the expanded state of consciousness. From that space, let's journey into who you are, why you're here, and what your gifts are,
Right.
because then you can begin to use those gifts in your own household, and then that naturally imparts on the children. It helps to open and access their gifts,
Absolutely it
their
does.
hearts.
It does.
When they see you being authentic, because believe me, the children coming in nowadays on all levels can see, feel, hear, and know
Yes.
where you're at. So you
Right.
can say, "Oh, I feel great." And they're like, "No, you don't."
Yeah.
And I'm going to push
Exactly.
this button until something happens so we get the true information out, right?
Right. Right. What's really bugging you?
What's really going on here? And so the children will push your buttons until you speak truth. They want authenticity. So
Right.
if you're not living in an authentic world, if you're not living authentically within yourself, or you feel like there's a piece of you that needs to be healed or shifted, or you don't understand, or you feel like there's a bigger calling for you and you don't know what that is
Right.
necessarily, that's my job.
Yeah.
My job is to dive in there and help you articulate what is going on, and then give you the tools to take with you to continue to expand your knowledge about yourself,
Exactly.
expand your consciousness, fall in love with you again. Because
Yeah.
especially as a mom,
Yes, I know.
guilt first. We feel guilty if we don't get them the food they want. We feel guilty if we don't do this right or that right. It's like the walking guilt trip.
Yeah.
We can, and we very naturally get into that space always trying to please.
Right. Exactly.
But if we know who we are and what we want and what we're here to do, then we can much more accurately and from a space of centeredness guide, our children as to what they're supposed to do. Because they're going to be
Completely.
like, "You're full of crap, mom. Like,
Right.
you don't know what you're doing. You're constantly saying yes to everyone, yet you're upset. How are you telling me that, you know, I'm supposed to be doing XYZ when you're not being authentic, mom?"
Exactly.
So really through my discovery process and helping give, moms or parents or family tools, it offers them the opportunity to shift their paradigm of how they're operating in the home. But you got to get out of the current state of the problem.
You sure do.
So for me, tapping into the higher dimensional aspects of our being allows for that expanded state of awareness
Correct.
to become present.
Right.
They bring that to the home,
Right.
and they begin operating in a different way with the children, with the other adults in the house if there's one
Right.
there,
Teachers, other
teachers.
classmates.
You begin to see how everyone's operating from their own, universe, and they don't necessarily understand where you're coming from. So you've got to be authentic, you've got to trust what's going on within you.
Right.
And when you stand in your own power,
Right.
you are then empowering your children.
Exactly.
when you discover what you love about you, what you're here to do, what you love about life, how and that you're okay as who you are.
Right.
Again, moms especially are placed in this position of always trying to please everyone else,
Yes.
right? And
It
from that
happens.
it happens.
You fall into it.
It happens very quickly,
When
very
it's kind of
easily.
funny because we get into a looping pattern with the family because the rest of the family members want mom to be happy. And when mom's happy, then everyone else is happy. And we set up these blurred lines of codependence upon one another.
Mhm.
And we really like to create this level of, we talk about soul sovereignty or standing in your sovereignty. And when you're sovereign and you're free to be you, you actually have more room and space to be interdependent with others and to support one another and to resource one another and to give and then receive.
Mhm.
And then that giving and receiving becomes a lot more balanced, even in the home, even to a mom figure
Mhm.
and or the kids figures or a spouse figure or a husband figure, any one of those. And then everyone starts working on, but we've had a long way to come from. I teased a TV show in the 60s, and it was about a mom and a dad, and they had two little boys, and we had a very iconic way of looking at how women are and how men are, and how we're supposed to run a family. And it's completely changed since the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But now we're looking at really how do we work with one another and resource one another so these energy exchanges between each other are authentic. And like you said, and not where a mom or a child is irritated, you can go, yeah, look at that. I'm irritated. Wow, what am I irritated about? I totally forgot. I didn't even know I was. Well, maybe because of that math test, and I got graded
Right.
unfairly. You know,
Well, okay, so the opportunity afforded there, if you think about it in a household, the child is always going to their natural instinct is to come from a place of authenticity. If
right,
they've been shut down by the parents, they're not allowed to express their feelings, they're not allowed to be emotional, they're not allowed to then they tend to start denying their own intuition.
right,
But in my household with my three children, I've always honored what they need or if they have something to say, I'll let them say it.
right,
It's a the children coming into the world nowadays require mutual respect.
right,
This isn't talk down to them, talk at them, do as I say, not as I do.
right,
They require mutual respect
right.
and they really demand it, and rightfully so. They came
Exactly.
in here as equals to us to teach us as much as we teach them.
Correct.
And so when when my children speak, they'll always tell me where they're at and how they're feeling authentically. So why aren't I doing it?
Right.
Why aren't I speaking my
You see, it's
truth?
my grown up conditioning.
Yeah,
And
sorry, it's my
thank you. You got me on that. And I'm going to
yeah,
go meditate on that one and restructure that and reframe that thinking.
exactly. So it's like naturally, if the child is speaking their authentic truth,
Right.
then it's the parent's responsibility to also speak their truth.
Yes.
They can show the child how to manage emotions, how to speak authentically but respectfully, how to
Exactly.
respect others' opinions and emotions, and speak from their heart.
Right.
Speak from your own heart. Don't project. Well, they're
Exactly.
doing this, or they feel. You can teach them that, but it's really important that parents start to learn how to come from a space of authenticity when they're dealing with their kids,
Right.
um, because that teaches the child that they need to speak their truth. And by doing that, you open up this space of interdependence. You open up this
And a safe
field,
space to express.
right?
Right. And that
Right.
it's okay. We're fallible. We got funny feelings every once in a
I screw up. I tell my kids, sorry, I screwed up. They'll be like, "What?" I won't even recognize it sometimes. I'll be like, come on, let's go. We gotta go. They're like, why are you yelling at me? Why are
while.
you yelling right now? And I'm like, oh, you're right. I am yelling. Sorry. Or I'll just say, because we
Right.
gotta go. I'm sorry.
Because we're in a hurry.
Let's go.
I
Like,
know we're not supposed to be in a hurry, but the time
yeah.
slipped us by and now we're in a hurry.
It's not always it's
It's
not
not.
always perfect, the way that we're human. We have human experiences just like our children do. So
Yeah.
I think the first step is authenticity.
Yeah.
And for the moms that come to me to, shift things happening within themselves, it's it starts with, looking within them
Right.
and what is paining them. Why are they flogging themselves
Right.
about different aspects of their life?
Right.
and
Well,
helping them
well, fogging
discover.
ourselves. I mean, that's an interesting concept because I think it's really misunderstood. We don't understand how much we really judge
Hmm.
ourselves. And flogging, self flogging is a good word to
Right?
use,
That's what I do to
but we don't.
myself,
I
so
used
I
to I used
know.
to like flick my forehead. Oh, you loser, Ashley! You're not supposed to do that, right? And that's by the way, that was a really gross
Yeah.
example of it. But we do. We end up self judging, and we don't realize that. But I really support people in understanding that self judgments, doubts, demands, and insistences, for example, shut down the energy. It completely shuts it down. It shuts down relating to yourself, it shuts down relating to other
Hmm.
people and your life's experiences. So the way that we can say is, oh, look at that. I'm judging myself. I made a mistake. I didn't
Yeah.
mean it. I'm going to let go of that self judgment. And how would I like to view this problem or this situation? You can own it, right? That's responsibility, accountability,
Hmm.
right? And all those. And when we start to do it, we actually feel free,
Hmm.
right? We
Hmm.
feel more open. I get it. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Like, why are you yelling at me? You can
Yeah.
say, I don't know. I need to think about that for a second. I went unconscious.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, they'll be like, "You're yelling at me," and I'll be like, "I'm raising my voice a bit." But yeah, you're right. It's like, "Oh, I am," because, like I was saying, the most important thing with the children coming in nowadays
Right.
is mutual respect.
Yes.
You are going to get much farther in development of strong, positive relationships with your children by respecting them and what they have to say and their feelings
Exactly.
as much as they're supposed to respect yours.
Exactly.
Right? And
Yeah,
so it's a two-way street.
it is.
Absolutely.
It really is.
And if parents recognize that your children are here to teach you as much as you are them, and you're more like a guide,
Right.
right? You're a parent, you brought them into the world, and you're a
You
guide.
gave them side rails, right?
Right.
Of the road of their path of their what they call their road to life,
Hmm.
and you can help them and plant flowers alongside of the road and all of those things. But you're a resource. You're a guide. You're you're a, you're a soul. You're a spirit. You're a being of love and honor, respect, and resource. I mean, really.
Right.
And
Right.
I think that's beautiful and very understandable. And they become that too. And they learn that rather than having to be dependent upon you to
Hmm.
tell them how to live their lives.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, it's a journey. It becomes more of a journey of self-discovery, which is why
Yes,
we're all here, right? Why our
exactly.
souls incarnated on earth is this journey of self-discovery. We chose the family we chose in our experiences, but if parents begin to understand what kind of child they're dealing with
Right.
and how to honor them for that, then their whole relationship can begin to shift
It
rapidly. And
dramatically shifts.
it can even start with something as simple as asking them, not just how your day was, but like, what did you like about your day? Oh, I love the sports. Well, what did you like about it? What is it about sports that you love so much? And then they'll start on a story or they'll start on a,
Right.
you
And
know,
they'll give you amazing insights into
Mhm.
their world that you didn't know was there because
Exactly.
we're not used to speaking with people and each other like that.
Hmm.
We're rather superficial when we talk to each other and we're not getting to the deeper meaning or the deeper understanding of why we're doing what we're doing, what we love to do, what we don't love to do.
Hmm.
All those aspects because then when we're able to express we have more clarity in our lives.
Right. Exactly. So, it is that clarity that really brings you into presence or awareness or mindfulness. I
Right.
a lot of the people obviously coming to me are going to be somewhat conscious parents because they want to learn more about their energy or their soul's journey or their guides and what information their guides have for them.
Right, right,
So they're already more consciously aware, but ultimately everyone wants to be in a state of awareness.
right,
Immediate awareness and presence
right.
is what allows for you to truly take in every moment. And it's that time between each breath that brings in that state of mindfulness that we all seek. And what is mindfulness? It's peace.
And his peace.
That's ultimately what we want. Everyone wants in this world is peace
Right,
and love
right.
and acceptance.
Because we already are that. I
Exactly.
know, isn't that funny?
So through that state of awareness, you
Yes.
become
You
you
become who
enter
you.
that natural state
Yes.
of being,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so a lot of the clients that I work with are seeking that or trying to understand why there's a separation there or
Right.
how they can get back to that or how they can learn more about themselves so that they may become the better parent or open that for their children.
Right. And
And
even their relationships, their spousal relationships, their intimate
absolutely,
relationships,
absolutely.
their work relationships,
Hmm.
their friendships, all sorts of things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I see often and that I hear and experience is that these amazing, beautiful beings that come to see me in my work are so enlightened already, and they are the most critical of themselves first.
Yeah.
So if you're being judgmental or harsh on your children
Right.
and you're, harping on them, you've already flogged yourself 10 times.
Right.
You're already upset about you're already upset about something with yourself.
Yeah. And we
There's
didn't even
something,
realize it.
yeah, you
Yeah.
don't even realize it. There's something you're judging about yourself.
Right.
You need to be doing more of this. You want to be more of that. You want to, you want to, there's always something that for some reason here during this time, the way that the paradigm set up and everything, we're always seeking more, including myself. I am not free of this.
Right.
We're always wanting to achieve that down the
Right.
line.
Right.
Why? Why aren't we okay with where we are right now in this moment? Like
Right.
I'm sharing this amazing
Right.
moment with you
Right. Right. And
and
everyone watching.
everyone watching and who
Yeah.
will watch,
Yeah.
right? We're experiencing this energy and connection together.
Right.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Why for a moment, do we need to seek something beyond this here and now? And I had this conversation with my daughter the other night because she was saying, oh, my friend, one of her girlfriends, can do a million different things. Well, so can Hannah.
Right.
But she was caught, she caught herself in a moment where she was like, gosh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. I was capable of doing. And
Right.
I'm like, the first thing you need to do is be okay with who you are
Right.
and where you're at right now.
Right.
But what she was doing was also reflecting something within me.
Right.
It wasn't about her. It was about, okay, there's somewhere right now within me where I'm not okay with
Because
where I'm settled
you're
right
in
now
that experience with her.
because I'm in it with her. So I was
Yes.
like, okay, there's something about me. Or there's something within me where I'm questioning or I'm not okay with where I'm at. And I had been earlier that day. I was like, gosh, I wish I could be doing this for them. I wish I could be doing that for them, which I tend to do more frequently. That's one of my flogs. And then she was reflecting. And I'm sitting here giving her advice. I'm like, you need to be okay with who you are. You're beautiful. You're magnificent. You're a spark of divine light. When you enter a room, people are attracted to you and want to be around you because you're such a loving being.
Right.
And I said, you're the most fun person I know. What's more important than that? Having fun and being loving. That's
Right.
what you are.
Right.
And so we have this conversation and she lights up and she's like, you're right. It was like this light bulb went on.
And she was reflecting that back to you, huh?
It went on for me too. Ding. Oh
Ding.
yeah, I'm actually okay where I'm at.
Right.
Everything is, um, everything is right where it's supposed to be in this moment. And
Exactly.
there's nothing else that needs to happen necessarily. If we take action through inspiration, that's different.
Right.
If we're inspired to do something because it's calling us and we hear it or we feel it or we see it or in
Exactly.
automatic writing, we write down all these ideas. Fantastic.
Right.
But this push to do more, and especially for our children,
Right.
parents, especially for kids, always wanting to do more. They want more of this, they want more of that. They're always going to request. They're always going to want more. They're always going
Right.
to need more.
And we stay stuck on the cycle of desire
Hmm.
when in actuality we're perfect in every moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
I think
process.
that's a great place to support people with is to let them go from this podcast and the idea that you are perfect just the way you are and that we can continue to improve and support each other and research each other and support our children and our families and know that it starts with us.
Mm,
Shining, right? And
it
remembering who
does.
we are just in this moment.
If there's breakdowns in your family or issues with your kids and you worry, and it starts with you. It
Yeah.
starts with looking within and discovering who you are in this moment And are you loving yourself in this moment?
Exactly.
Everything's either love, you're either loving, or you're stepping away from love, out of love.
And fear. Fear is
And fear.
usually the one.
That's step one, is that self-discovery. Through that, you can figure out everything else going on in your world.
You sure can. And so, how can people get a hold of you? What is the best way? Through your website?
My website,
So
yeah,
that's
it's amandamariemasters.com.
www.amandamariemasters.com.
So it's www.amandamariemasters.com. So I do a discovery session for parents who want to learn more about what's happening within themselves so that they may shift and change and work with their kids, open their kids' hearts, and just change the paradigm or dynamics in their family.
Yeah, that's so,
So,
so beautiful.
or if you're not, let's say you're listening to this and you're not a parent, but you're still curious and interested in what we're talking about.
Right.
I work with all different people,
All different,
that are
all
looking for their
different
soul's
adults.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
looking for their soul's purpose, or they want to get answers for things, or whatever it is. It runs the gamut. So
Right.
it's just all about, the key to what I do is help you discover what it feels like to step into your expanded awareness, your
Yes.
expanded state of consciousness,
Yes.
and live from that space and awareness.
That's
That's
so
that's what I
beautiful.
teach and help people do. And then from that space, I help guide them into getting answers, and then give them the tools so they can do that for themselves moving forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you,
Welcome.
everyone. Thank you, Amanda,
Thank
for
you.
joining us today.
Thank you.
It's a
It's
beautiful
wonderful.
day. Have a wonderful day shining your true nature.
Yes. Thank you, Ashley, so much for the work you do.
Thank you.
Love being here today.